Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hello, I'm Kevin from Personal Tutors, bringing to you a chapter, A Shady Plot, by Elsie Brown. Friends, this chapter plays an important role since it has been translated into numerous languages, movies, television shows, stories, short stories, novels as well. Elsie Brown was an English author, and The Shady Plot is one of the renowned stories that she has gone ahead and written. It's all about a ghost story writer, John Halleck. A ghost named Helen, Lavinia, his wife, and Jenkins, a magazine editor who actually liked John Halleck's ghost horror stories since they seemed to bring ghosts in real life. The stories that Halleck wrote brought as if the ghosts were speaking themselves out. It all starts one fine day that Jenkins asks John to write up another story, and John thus sits down to write a story. Whence he's encountered by a ghost, that is Helen, who informs him that it has always been Helen and the other ghosts who have inspired John whenever he wanted to write a ghost story, thus making John realize that even without a plot, every moment he sat down to write a story, he got an idea in his mind. Helen, through which, informs him now that she's not being able to help him since the ghosts were going on strike. This sounds quite hilarious to John. The ghosts going on strike? He did not believe in the fact, but yet he was pacified and not scared. Asked Helen the reason for going on a strike. Helen informs them about people nowadays using the Ouija board. Friends, Ouija board is a board that is usually used to contact the departed, that is the souls of the dead. It's a famous game played in Western and European ancient era, yet is despised in the modern world. So coming back to the story, Helen informs that since they were being called by people while playing the Ouija board, the ghosts have decided to go on a strike, and thus they would not be able to help John write any more horror stories. John, being a peculiar guy, just takes it in a different way and incidentally accepts the offer made by Helen to let him write a story whence he would go ahead and ask his friends to stop using the Ouija board. Calamity strikes, my friend. The moment Lavinia enters the room, she gives John an Ouija board that she had purchased for him so as to help him call the ghosts and let him write the ghost stories, the horror stories. John is battered by the thought of promising Helen of not letting people play the Ouija board, yet his own beloved wife, a sweet young girl, Lavinia, bringing an Ouija board so thoughtfully for him so as to help him write more ghost stories and horror stories. Just imagine the picture, the notion that the person would be going through. Here the humor in the story strikes, my friends. Thus John denies getting involved in the Ouija board and asks his wife to take it away. Later on, John is informed by his cook, who happens to be incidentally an African lady who believes in ghosts and stories, that Lavinia has organized an Ouija board party at the house and the ladies are coming in to play with. John is taken aback, mesmerized at what he has to do. He has promised Helen that he would request his friends and condemn them from using the Ouija board. It happens so that he himself has to play the game since a lady down there did not have a partner. Thus, whilst playing the game, a word comes up: traitor. The ladies are amazed. The word traitor comes up. The next question that the ghost was asked: who are you? Incidentally, the ghost that was called in the Ouija board happens to be Helen herself. Raged by anger and brutality, she was really angry to see John going there ahead and playing the game of Ouija, promising her of not letting people play it, yet himself enjoying it and helping others play it too. Thus the word traitor comes up, and Helen reveals herself when asked who the traitor is by Lavinia. The word pop up: John. My friends, a total hilarious condition over here. A man playing a game with his wife and her friends, being called a traitor in front of all of them, suddenly confronted with thoughts of his wife. Incidentally, Lavinia happens to think of John cheating upon her and having an affair with another lady out there, thus the ghost calling him traitor. The hell breaks loose. She wants to end up the marriage. She wants to go away to her grandmother's house, packs her bag, and John is left bewildered in a situation where he couldn't do anything. Back in the room, he's confronted by Helen and informs her of the happening, thus regretting of not letting them play the game or not stopping them from playing the game, and really wishes in despair and hopes to die. Since his wife is leaving, his marriage is ending, his family is broke, he's not able to write stories. Thus he hears the footstep of Lavinia coming into the room. He's scared to his bones, his wife looking at the ghost and shrieking out would be the possibility. On the contrary, Lavinia enters the room and is very much pleased to see Helen in the room speaking to her husband, and immediately comes to know about the situation or the pact between Helen and John of not letting him or not letting others play the game of Ouija. Yet intelligent at the mind, the lady Lavinia immediately understands the plight of John the very moment she sees Helen in the room, and is delighted with the fact, thus ending up the play over here. Friends, Elsie Brown was a writer who wrote plays and briefs on a notion of having the commonest of the daily routine of a person. Thus, the Shady plot is a humorous representation of a writer embarked between the indulgement of a pact with a ghost and the beautiful marriage that he has and saving it. It is a humorous representation as well, has a cocky mockery that can be understood between the lines, my friend. Wisest of you would understand it the moment you read the chapter. Let's have a few question and answers solved right now. The title of a story is a shady plot. The dictionary defines the words as full of shade, that is shaded. Casting shade is a shady groove, quite dark or concealed, that means hidden. It gives us a plot of a ghostly appearance, a place that's dark, shaded, embarked with sudden coldness, of a ghostly manner, starts something like a horror genre. So that's what the shady plot means. The writer was overconfident about his ability to write ghost stories because, as I said, every time John sat on the table to write a story, he had an idea in his mind. He never recognized or identified where the idea came from. Whence Helen informed him that it were the ghost whispering the ideas in his ears whilst he sat to write. He did not have a plot, he did not have a story, he did not have a logic. But the moment he sat down, the ghost started helping him write the story and the ideas began to flow in. So thus he was overconfident with an idea of writing a perfect ghost story every time he wanted to write one. The ghost wanted John to stop people from using the Ouija board. The narrator earns his living by, he is an accountant in a firm, yet he's asked by Jenkins, a magazine owner, to write few ghost stories every time he needs one to be printed in his magazine. John wants the ghost to disappear before his wife enters the room and waves his arm at the ghost with something of the motion of a beginner with learning to swim. So that's just go away, my wife is coming, my friends, because he was scared that his wife would be filled with anxiety, so that when she enters the room she may not be frightened by the appearance of a ghost inside the room. When the narrator says his wife is never so pretty as when she's doing something he knows he disapproves of his tone. The writer knew that his wife was a fashion fanatic. Everything new coming in the market was to be purchased by Lavinia. A perfect girl, living a perfect womanhood, fashion instinct, majestic, royal, and a finesta as well, my friends. This shows her totally being opposite from the ghosts. Thus the narrator knew that his beautiful, fashionable wife, the moment sees the ghost, would shriek her hearts out, since she was a simple girl believing in the modern world, not understanding the story of the ghost as well. The ghost says, "It's all your fault." The ghost informs John of not letting others stop the use of Ouija, and thus the story coming to a notion that he is losing his wife, the marriage is ending, and John not being a real man and exclaiming it to all. Thus the ghost says, "It's all your fault, John. You did it on your own. If you would have gone ahead and stopped the people from using the Ouija board, you would not have encountered the situation that you have landed yourself today." Gladolia wishes to leave the narrator's house, as Gladolia, as I said, my friends, is a cook. She's scared at the thought of the ghost calling the author a traitor. She's scared to the bones. Africans, my friends, are really into spirits, into entomology of ghosts, and various dark magics. She was scared to her bones. She wanted to leave the house immediately the moment the ghost entered and they started playing the Ouija board. The sight of the ghost materializing in his room filled the narrator with, obviously, in the story it said that there appeared a hand, and then another hand, and then the two legs and the body of a lady. It really would have made and given a thought of fearsomeness to the narrator, happening to be going ahead and getting a ghost appear in front of him out of thin air. So that's a feeling of fear. Why does the narrator hesitate to be a partner to Laura Hinkle during the Ouija board party? The narrator, John, did not want to be Laura Hinkle's partner, since he had promised Helen that he would deceive people and discourage them by playing the game of Ouija. Yet here himself he had to become the partner of Laura Jenkins, because she did not have a partner to play. That's Laura Hinkle, my friends. How does the ghost undermine the narrator's faith and his ability to write ghost stories? The ghost informs that today he is not able to write anything since the ghosts have gone on strike, and it were they who helped him write stories every time he sat. Immediately, without a plot in his mind, he just starts to write and the story comes out, my friend. Thus, giving a notion of him undermining himself. Why does John wish he were dead? John wished he was dead because he saw himself being so helpless of not getting the promise done, having his wife lost, the marriage going off, and the hell breaking loose upon him. Thus he wanted to be dead. John's apprehensions about wife's reaction to the encounter with ghosts are unfounded. Justify. I said the moment Lavinia entered the room, she was delighted to see Helen, and thus the explanation that she got was quite adult. She behaved as a matured person and did not go frantically running out, thus showing a sign of an understanding wife. Being a modern lady, she was an understanding wife as well. This gives a notion of Lavinia being an understandable woman who really knows how to make the things up. Why does John want the ghost to disappear before his wife appears the scene? Lavinia, being a normal girl, appears to be a modernized version of the society. John, thinking her to be a fashionista, despises the thought of having her encountering the ghost, as she may run around frantically denying the fact that her husband is speaking to ghosts. So leaving you today here, my friends, with the brief that I have given. If you have any more questions, do comment below. I'll be glad to answer you. If you want to know more about my briefs and my videos, you can just type in Kevin Lopez, personal tutor Indore. You can get all the syllabuses completed in the NCERT English section. If you want to have some data, we provide it online as well. We provide it to you in pen drives as well. Want to know something about us? Just click the button about us. Do subscribe our channel for more updates, since we have crossed the number of 5K now, my friends. Thank you very much for attending the session. See you again someday later.